You had an interview with Snoop and you talked about a teacher who,
Miss Brown.
yeah, and she asked you the question, what's more important, your life or the hood? And I was wondering if there were any sort of particularly poignant comments you remember, apart from that.
I felt like she was being rude as f. I was like, that's that. I
Yeah,
was like, you're rude. I was mad at her for like a week. But when I
yeah,
got older, I was like, yeah, I forget what you were saying. But it was kind of snooty. Miss Brown's asshole. Love her to death, but I wonder where she's at right now. But she was very much so a jerk.
right,
But she was supposed to be. She was like a good teacher. But
yeah.
at that point, I didn't want to hear what she had to say. I didn't want to hear what anybody had to say. I was just like, you don't know me like that to be saying stuff like that. Like, you're weird. That's just what I thought. I was like, all right, you're weird. I'm not going to your class anymore. And that's kind of, I still went to her class,
Mm.
but I really didn't. I was a kid. I didn't think much of it. I was in the ninth grade. I was like 13, 14 years old. So,
But upon reflection, you're like, oh, maybe that was
yeah, she was trying to help. I thought she was just being like racist
right.
because that school I went to didn't necessarily like people that came from where I came from. So I just thought it was one of those things. It was like a big thing at that school too. Like a bunch of people got fired for discrimination, a bunch of other stuff. So
So
after,
maybe she was being
oh
racist.
no, she wasn't at all. But
Oh,
like
okay.
it was like the what's it called? It was like the faculty, like the principals and the disciplinaries and things like that. They were doing weird stuff because there were a lot of people who busted and they just wanted the kids at. And like no matter what color you were, if you didn't bust, if you busted and you weren't from, Lakewood, if you were from Long Beach, they kind of didn't want you to be there. So that was kind of my mind state when I was dealing with everybody at the school. So I kind of wasn't able to take her words for what they were. I kind of just put her in that box. Kind of what I felt like she was doing to me, I was doing to her.
Did that particular environment, do you think that influenced any other part of your life? Observing the way
Well,
people
going to
treated
that
you there?
school, I
Yeah,
love that school.
yeah.
I wish I would have stayed. I didn't want to leave when they kicked me out. I was so sad. If I'd have stayed at that school, I would have graduated, like probably went to college or something. That was a really good school. Like I love that school to this day. I tell people I went there before I tell them I went to Georgia, which is my home school, which I eventually ended up going to. I'll tell people I went to Mayfair. I wanted to go to that school really bad when I was a kid. Like my mom didn't want me to go. She was like, you're gonna get in trouble. I was like, trust me, it'll be fine. I gotta go to Mayfair. I had fun. It was right by the Lakewood Mall. I didn't have to worry about little stuff. I had fun at that school, but couldn't stay out of trouble.
So why did you get kicked out in the end?
It was a long story, man. Just a bunch of stuff. I wasn't like I don't want to say that they were trying to like they had it out for me. I don't like saying things like that, but they actually did, just because who they thought I was. Like we got this thing called we got like gang file and things like that in schools in I guess where I grew up, Southern California, Los Angeles area, and I was on that, and they told my mom like a bunch of crazy stuff, and my mom was that doesn't make any sense, but my mom helped me a lot to kind of get out of that situation, but I just kept getting in trouble for like little stuff I was doing and wasn't doing, and like you get arrested and then you have truancy because you couldn't go to school because you got arrested, and then you get suspended, but then you don't have enough school days for that year, so you have to pay the restitution. You don't have the money to pay the restitution, so you get suspended again, and then you get more truancy court days. It's just like the system isn't that good, but the dropout rates in Long Beach and California in general are really really high, or just the kids not graduating, like period, is like really high. So it's not like a me thing. It's just we gotta kind of fix some things over there.
Yeah, right. And you said you would have graduated otherwise. So that sucks that,
I
as
mean,
you say, if the system's broken,
yeah, that
then
was the
people
best
don't
chance I
graduate.
had though. At
Yeah,
that school was the best chance I had. Everywhere else was kind of it wasn't gonna work. I could tell.
yeah.
I went to school. I went to a high school while I was in juvenile placement, so that was weird. And I went to Jordan High, which was just too close to my house, and that was weird. And I went to the school in two schools in Orange County, and I went to school in Atlanta. I went to like 6 schools in like 2 years,
Mm,
2.5 years, and it was just doing too much.
yeah.
I got good grades though, so that was cool, I guess.
Looking back, were there any sort of words of advice or, people looking out for you that upon reflection, you're like, oh, okay, that might have actually changed the course of my life?
No, nobody tried to help me.
No one tried to help you?
No.
No.
It's funny. I was talking to my mom about this yesterday. She was talking to one of my friends who had just got in trouble recently. He's not coming back home. And she was like, he was a good guy, blah, blah. She said, it's funny because she said when I was a kid and she could tell like I was getting older, I didn't even notice until she told me. She said she had called so many churches and talked to all these people she knew that had decent jobs, and said she was trying to get somebody to mentor me and hang out with me or try to help me so I wouldn't get in trouble. And she said literally like nobody called her back.
Wow.
She said not one person called her back. That's why she never was mad about when I started doing whatever I was doing, because she was like, nobody cared. And I didn't even know she tried to do that. I thought it was kind of funny, but like, she told me this yesterday, Corey, on the phone. I was
That's
like, that's
crazy.
crazy. She said she had like the church she went to, the pastor said that he didn't think anybody had any time for that. And she had to call like boys and girls clubs, and she had to try to talk to my basketball coaches and all those other things. Like, Vincent doesn't have the best home life, and he's going to run into these things eventually, because this is how we're like telling our business, basically, trying to get somebody to help. And they were like, nah. That's I've been like who really helps kids? Like, that's not a thing that happens a lot.
All right, it's not some feel good movie.
That's why they make movies, because it's not a regular thing. If it was just something that happened, there's no movie about like the cop that arrests people.
Yeah.
Like, there's no movie about the guy that works at the grocery store. These are regular things. And you have to make a movie about some shit that doesn't happen. That's why Superman is a thing. Fast and Furious. These things don't happen. When was the last time you saw like a assault rifle car chase? And there are all these movies about teachers helping kids. Like, that's not their fucking job. And like, you know what I mean? Like,
and no one else is trying to make it their job either, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say no one else. I feel like a lot of people do try, but they're like extremely outweighed by the number of children that need help.
Yeah. Shit. Sad indictment
Yeah,
on the state of affairs.
I'm just saying, say if it's like 5 teachers at a school that are really, really good, that really, really want to help kids. Say it's 10. Say it's 100 teachers that really want to help kids. It's thousands in graduating classes. So say that those 100 teachers, which is a lot, and no one has 100 teachers that's really trying to at their extra time, but just say that was the number. Like, that's not even the amount of kids they see in their grade in whatever one class they teach every day. It's like 50, it was like 40, 50 kids, 30 kids at the least in the classes I was at when I was in high school. So you can't, like, they can't help everybody. It's just not how it works. It's just not enough teachers to help the kids. And that's why we need after school programs, things like that. But those things cost money, and nobody wants to pay for them. So.
Are you involved at all in anything like that, after school programs, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I got a couple of things.
Yeah. So that's something you're passionate about?
Yeah, I think it's important. If you don't, they get in trouble. So nobody wants kids to get in trouble. We got I have a program through the YMCA. We're trying to do some things, because my manager went to Morehouse, and we're trying to do some things with the kids that are in college out there. Just trying to do stuff for younger kids. We got a lot of involvement with like the library in my neighborhood and things like that, and just trying to help out a little bit. When we can, it's not much, but we're trying to figure it out.
Politically here, we're a little on edge. Our Prime Minister just resigned a couple days ago, and I feel like the world's still kind of coming to terms with the whole Trump thing, which kind of reminded me of the lyrics of yours from Lift Me Up, which is, I never vote for presidents. The presidents that changed the hood is dead and green.
If you have money, then you could fix your situation. We're saying that you need money to pay for food, to get a better education, to get a better house, to get a better car, to have more opportunities, to see more of the world. You need money. All these things cost money. So if you need money to kind of change your surroundings and better your community. Not like it'd be different. We can all wake up one day and say, oh, well, let's try to paint this, and let's try to build these homes for these people, blah, blah. And it's all a good idea. But if we don't have the money to do it, then, we can't really do anything. But if people have more money, of course, there would be less problems, I feel. And there would probably be less hatred amongst everybody, because if everyone's doing well, then they don't really, it wouldn't make much sense. They wouldn't have much time to, have hatred towards other people, because they'd be too busy enjoying their life, having a good time, appreciating. But, if you're doing bad, it's hard to look at people who aren't doing bad, and it's always easiest to point a finger and blame somebody. So I feel like, money is a very big problem. That's why we speak about class systems and things like that. But I mean, politics just, it's a tricky thing. It's not really my thing. A lot of people think it is, but that's not like my thing. Not me. My focus is kind of more so on, I'm worried about, kids.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about a grown up. You know what I mean? They'll figure it out. You are who you are at that point in your life. We spend so much time worrying about that, then these kids are just growing up and not knowing who they are, not knowing where they're going to be, not knowing things like that. It's corny to say the children are the future, but it's actually true, because we're going to die before them, more than likely. So,
yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at with it when it comes to things of that nature. I care about schools and stupid things like that. People being hungry. Mental health. homeless crazy people who walk the streets and have nothing. We have more, foreclosed and empty abandoned homes in the United States than we have homeless people. We have a lot of problems. So
Similar situation here.
yeah, it's like you can't. It's just so much going on in the world because the world's so vast. I don't think you can really pinpoint what the problem is because we have so many problems. You know what I mean? So I feel like everyone should find something they're passionate about and just try to fix that, and then we'll have people doing separate things, and then maybe we'll get a lot done faster. I don't know, but it is what it is.
And Smile and Prima Donna, they both kind of end with that sort of like a kind of eerie sort of chanting of you accept. Smile ends with sometimes I feel like giving up, and Prima Donna ends with I just want to show you better. Does the wanting to show you better, wanting to do better, does that often outweigh the feeling of giving up, do you think?
That's just, all my songs are like that. I make songs on voice notes so I don't forget them. And we didn't finish the songs. Or we just use the voice notes.
So those are all just, those are just voice notes from your phone?
And their songs.
Almost like guides for...
Yeah. Lift Me Up was like that on my phone for like 2 years. The whole song, until we found a beat for it, so...
So you write it before you get the beat.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you just wake up and do it, or like how does that work? You're just like
happens.
going about your business and then
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it happens.
Simple as that, all right.
Yeah, you're the first person that's ever thought that. That's how it works. You think about it one day and then it's a thing.
Who do you I feel like you're going to say, I don't think about that. But do you think about, do you have an audience in mind when you're writing? Is there someone specific that you're hoping to speak to?
No, but I think that, I just look at it in the sense that if you're looking or speaking to the world and you have one opportunity to tell them something, you should be wise with your words and your choices and your subject matter, your content, and things that you say. And that's something I've thought more about as I've gotten older. For some of you, say you have that one moment to break through to somebody, what are you going to tell them? Because it might just be one moment, it might be one song, it might not even be that big of a deal, but what are you going to tell them when you get that opportunity to speak to them? And that kind of just, I think about that a lot. And I played shows in places most people probably never go, like just playing these offshoot festivals in Europe and things like that, and one in Hong Kong and things like that. It's like these people might never run into someone who is from where you're from, where has your background, whether it's your race, whether it's your religion, whether it's your belief system, whether it is whatever it is. And this is your shot to show them who you are and where you come from and kind of what it entails. So what is that going to be? So that kind of just, like they say, first impression is very important. So in a sense, that just kind of makes me think about things like that. Because I know when I was a kid, I was very impressionable when it came to certain things. So I just think about things like that now. I guess that's the best answer I can make for that question. It's not a specific audience, it's just what do you say to that audience, no matter who it is, to the point that everybody has an understanding of what you want to say. Because it's going to be misconstrued anyway. So you might as well try your best to get it as clear as you can.
A lot of what I see of you is the funny side, though. I know we've been talking about lots of serious stuff. There's the, you comment on, people come to you to make funny comments on
That's so annoying. I hate that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is that
I don't like it. I don't like that.
No.
I feel it though, I guess. I don't have a problem with it. It's part of the job. But I don't like it, no.
What about it annoys you?
The fact that someone asks you, you've never sat there while it happens.
Right.
It's crazy while it happens, because what happens is people just sit there and show me things for a long time, and I literally have nothing to say because I'm not a rude person.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't you hate it? That's the line they always use, Corey. Like, look, don't you hate this? I'm like, no, I don't.
I love it.
And then it's like, all right, let's get this over with. So let's go home.
Right.
How long were we doing that one thing? We were there for an hour, right?
It just depends.
And the person was like, don't you just hate, look at this picture, don't you hate it? I'm like, no, I don't.
It's perception.
What it is this video has this many views, let's make another one.
Yeah, it's lazy, right?
Clickbait.
It's definitely clickbait. I did a piece that they told me it was something, and then when I read it, it was it was something completely different. It was completely different than what it was. And it wasn't even like a big deal. Like, it was just something regular. And then I was like, you could have just said what it was.
Mm.
But it's like, people are, I don't know. I understand it. Everybody has a job to do.
Yeah, I guess that's what you were talking about when you get your message out, trying to make it as clear as possible so people don't then go and mess with it.
People are going to say whatever they want. It's like, conscious rapper Vince Staples, gangster rapper Vince Staples, West Coast gangster rapper Vince Staples, West Coast thoughtful gangster rapper Vince Staples. It's like, leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
Just say my name.
Vince Staples.
It's so much easier. It makes everything easier if they just leave out all the other stuff.
All right, I'll leave you alone now, Vince Staples.
Oh, no,
Thank
you're
you very
fine.
much.
Trust me. I would have told you. That's my new thing. I tell people when they're out of pocket. Now, I saw Kanye West do it in an interview, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
This dude was like, well, do you think you're an artist? And he's like, why would you ask me that? Do you not think that's extremely rude? You're rude, right? You're a rude person. And I was like, he probably feels so bad. But he's like, I'm sorry for pointing out what you said was rude, but it was. And I was like, oh, we could have done this the whole time. Once Kanye does it, it's
so
okay.
You're taking notes, right?
Oh,
yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kanye West.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time.
That's the click. If you want a clickbait title, put Vince Staples thanks West Coast conscious gangster rapper Vince Staples thanks Kanye West in interview. That'll get some clicks.
All right, we'll do that. Quote as well. Yeah.